All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is Data Slate Day, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. All right. Obviously, with Necrons, some of the other armies, what went down. All right. Yeah. I mean, this is our August data slate, and as of late, I've been pretty opinionated of the game, and hopefully this is steering the ship in the right direction. So obviously, because y'all know I love my crons, that's no secret. We're going to be going over some of the Necron data slate stuff today, updated rules, updated points. I want to take a look at some of the other armies as well, obviously Tyranids, and see what points went up. Mainly, guys, did Land Raider Redeemers go up? Let me know. Did Defilers go up? Let me know. Did Wolfguard Terminators go up? Let me know. All right. And then I just want to talk about towards the end kind of what this means as a whole for Necrons going into this next month until we get our data slate in September. Orcs coming out, Space Marines. I mean, there's a lot of changes coming. That's just the new Warhammer universe, it seems like these days. So seriously, drop a comment in the chat or a question if you got it, and let's get into these changes, because that's what y'all are here, and some of my opinions. So we got the Necron faction pack opened. What's new? It looks like they changed the Cursed Legion strat that nobody ever used, because you just use Heroic Intervention instead. So that's great. So right at the top, this is already off to a great start. All right. This is awesome. Okay. I don't think they had any changes in here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, with GW, with these updates, I tell you, man, they tried their best to make it, a cleaner, better experience. And while I will say it is better than 10th edition going through these updates, it is not still in an ideal spot. Okay. So Necron rule updates highlighted in red. So Hypercrypt Legion, interesting. Okay, so Cosmic Precision Stratagem. So this is the stratagem that essentially allows us to 6-inch deep strike. It looks like they've added the clause that it is an ingress move this phase, which, correct me if I'm wrong, it basically kind of clears up any ambiguity or like confusion as far as around being able to use this stratagem turn one if you go bottom of turn one. I was personally already playing it that way, because it seems like as of right now, unless it explicitly states in the stratagem or in the rule that, hey, you can arrive turn one like it says in the core rules, it's basically just not allowed. So them adding this clause, I think, just kind of clears things up as far as any confusion where, if you are bringing up a unit via hyperphasing, bottom of turn one is really the specific case. You aren't able to arrive with that stratagem, because some would say like, oh, well, it's arriving via hyperphasing, not via like a deep strike move. But they've cleared that up and said like, hey, this is an ingress move, so you got to wait till turn two, which is also why I don't think we're seeing a lot of Hypercrypt right now, because that's kind of like a net nerf, unfortunately, to the detachment. So seems fine. The Monolith, Trinity Gate ability, my guess is they're clearing up the engagement range confusion, which it looks like they did. So, and while making that ingress move, the unit must be set up wholly within 6 inches of this unit and unengaged, instead of more than 8 inches horizontally from all enemy units. Okay, so that's great. They cleared that up. There was kind of like confusion there originally, because they originally had stated something about it counts as making an ingress move. And so if it was making an ingress move, then it would fall under the category of like, you need to stay outside of like 8 inches. It's kind of this weird like gray area. So I'm glad they cleared that up as well. So Great here. Doesn't look like there's anything else that changed. As far as rule-wise, correct me in the chat if you guys noticed something that maybe I didn't. I know there was some confusion too with the Night Scythe last update. Like, I wish they would just I wish they would just have the data sheet changes all just on this sheet. Like, that would be just great. And then we don't got to go hunting around for stuff, or update the app and then you look in the random FAQ section and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess this did change. That would be great. Okay, let's go to the field manual here. I love this. This always looks super cool. Necrons, obviously, and let me make sure that you all can see this okay. Let's see. Can we make sure? Can we see this okay? I should have checked this beforehand, so I apologize. I was having a little technical difficulties this morning. Okay, so we need to shrink this down ever so. There we go. Okay. Now we can see it. Okay. So the points here, basically no changes except for all the stuff that we're already spamming. So, okay, this is what's even more confusing. Wasn't the Scorpec Lord already at 95 points? So are they like combining both the updates together? Because wasn't the Scorpec Lord already 95? Locust Lord going up another 10, so he's 80. And then Locust Heavy's going up 5 points. Locust Destroyer's going up another 5, it looks like. And then you get big spammed if you run 18 of them, which, I mean, you definitely could run 18 of them. So this is interesting. I will say that, Necrons, like some of you pointed out in the chat, I mean, we were right there, kind of in the Goldilocks zone, like right basically at 50%. I think we were in a very good and healthy spot in the meta. It's like, we were strong, but not really quite strong enough to go all the way against some of those top tier armies. They are essentially hitting us in the spot where it's all the units that we were spamming. So I think my Cursed Legion Skyshroud list went up like 20 points. So, like, not that crazy. I mean, you basically lose like the Mask of the Necrosaur enhancement, and you're basically still running the same list. I still think that's probably our strongest way to play right now, even with these changes, because I don't think they changed anything in the detachments, right? So Curse is still Purge, still 2 DP. There was some like worries going around, like, oh, is Curse Legion going to be 3 DP? So nothing crazy there. I would have liked to see Canoptic Core go down to 2 DP, but I definitely understand why it's not detachment. So that definitely makes sense. But yeah, I think overall, I mean, Necrons are still in a really good spot. I think we do have to bear in mind, because the thing is, okay, 93% of you all are saying that Necrons got nerfed, okay? Which, when you look at this at face value, yes, look, our points went up. It went up 20 points. Who freaking cares, all right? I will say that my assumption is a lot of the other parts of the meta also went up, okay? So bear that in mind, or hopefully they got hit decently. I don't know how much the filers went up, EC. That would actually be interesting to look at. Drop a comment in the chat. What army do you guys want to take a look at next, outside of Necrons? But I think overall, I think Necrons are still like in a good spot. I don't think this really moves the needle one way or another. I think I would have liked to see more changes. I know they did say, let me look back here. Event companions. Warhammer Event Companion. Layouts updated. Errata and FAQs updated. Layouts updated. So we recommend running through layouts A, B, and C. Okay, I mean that's fine. I mean, I guess it doesn't really correct that, you know, we might be playing Dawn of War a lot, but you know, that's cool. That's cool. I respect it. The plunder updates, that was already there. And then layouts updates. So it looks like they're combining all these. So updated mats on like priority assets, reconnaissance, etc. I still don't know if this fundamentally changes the problem with the missions. Which is kind of like the big question mark, I'll be honest, guys. Like, I think, is GW willing or able to change the mission cards? And specifically because I don't know if changing the layouts, and I'm assuming there are some armies that got taken off of priority assets maybe, if that's going to be really enough to change the disparity between the dispositions. Because, I mean, as you guys all know, I mean, the majority of these tournaments, it's taken hold and priority assets. That's at least half the field, like at least half the field, if not like 2/3 of the field probably. So it does kind of create a feels bad when it comes to balance, because, you know, you could run into the issue like I did in a GT where you're literally playing the same mission 3 or 4 games in a row. And that doesn't personally feel great. So I don't know. I'm really hoping potentially in the September update that they do, you know, flex a little bit and they are willing to change some of the mission cards, because I don't know. I'm gonna put up a poll. I actually want to I want to see what you guys, what you all feel out there. And to the 50 of you that are freaking in here, seriously, appreciate you hanging out, appreciate you watching. Feel free to drop your questions or anything in the chat. I do want to take a look at, after I drop this polls, I want to check out EC and see their changes, maybe CSM as well, some of those top armies, see how they got potentially hit. But let's see here. So do the mission cards need to be changed? I'm curious. I am curious. More or less a pulse check. A pulse check. All right. So while that poll is running, let's switch over and check out here, let's go back to the field manual. And let's hit up Emperor's Children, see what they're looking at. Okay, so Defiler's up 10, or Exalted up 10, Demonette's up 10. I know a lot of lists were running like 3 or 4 units of that. Some enhancement went up. I don't know if these were like mainstream. So it looks like overall most EC lists went up maybe between like 50 and 70 points. Like, not crazy. It's like not crazy. Second Defiler's up 10. So probably not even 50 points. So I don't love that. I don't love that. EC still good. Still good. Let's see here. Do the missions card need to be changed? 53% no. Wow, that's pretty high. That's higher than I thought. Yeah, my one issue with Crons right now is that there's really only one viable tourney list. Yeah, correct. Correct, exactly. I mean, we just slam. I mean, the Locust Heavy Destroyers and the Locust Destroyers are single-handedly holding up our faction right now. But I will say that is similar to DDA's holding up our faction in the entire length of 10th edition. So, you know, the Codex is definitely, you know, showing its age, especially seeing the Orc Codex, which has a lot of cool stuff in it. I was talking to one of my buddies the other day about, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on the new like Orc Codex, but it is very interesting from a design philosophy because you're also seeing leaks from Space Marines where it seems like in general they're making a lot of the like all stronger, but they're also having the points adjusted appropriately for that, where potentially overall as more codexes come out, maybe we're going to see less stuff on the table to help potentially speed up games maybe a little bit, because as of right now, I think a consensus in the community is like, I mean, you really need like 3.5-hour rounds, not 3-hour rounds to really get through them. And I feel like maybe one way to combat that is potentially making things a little bit more elite, having some cooler stats, but having, you know, a couple less units off the table. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But it seems like with the first two codexes, or at least what we've seen from Orcs and the Space Marine leak so far, it seems like that might be trending in that direction, which is very interesting. Okay. Let's go to Chaos Demons. I know somebody wanted to look at Chaos Demons here. So Beast of Nurgle went up 5 points. Hey, you know, David Gaylord himself, man, he is raising these blood crushers. All right. Look at that. Defining the meta. Love to see it. So yeah, blood crushers, that's a pretty big, pretty good tax right there. Beans are going up. Keeper of Secrets, Skull Cannon, Seekers. So, I mean, really hit that one list that was running at WTC War Masters, which, you know, I guess makes sense. And, you know, when you got like, what was it? The top 4, it was 3 demon players and then Custodes. So, you know, these are all rightful, I think, points updates here. Try to balance some things out there. Chaos Space Marines. Second Defiler goes up 10 points. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. But hey, Defilers can still Overwatch, guys. So, you know, there's that. Let's see. 52-48. The community is split. Y'all are split, all right? Look, I will say, I mean, I feel like really looking forward to Strength 7 Berserkers and Blood Angels, one-tapping T6 Race. Yeah, I mean, you know, Race are in an interesting spot. I think, you know, their time of being a damage sponge and a stat check is slowly dwindling. I will say. I did hear something. Did they change the Norn assimilator at all for Tyranids? Does anybody know? Tyranids. Exocrine down 5. Maliceptor down 10. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I wasn't super excited about Exocrines and Maliceptors. Like, I played them a couple times, and I'm like, with the psychic changes, I was like, oh, you know, they're... You know, that's probably pretty cool, but they didn't really feel that great. Pyrovore's up because of Assimilation Swarm. That makes sense. So then you're just getting taxed more for the 3 model unit. The Tyrant Guard up 10. Interesting. You've been seeing that kind of pop up in Assimilation Swarm and some other builds with the combination of Norns. So you're running them in bricks of 6, and they're, you know, you can attach like a Swarm Lord or Hive Tyrant to them. Is a pretty good combo, but again, you're just kind of playing this stat check with Tyranids right now, where you're just slamming a bunch of Norns and potentially Tyrant Guard and say, can you deal with this? And if the answer is yes, then it's probably not a great time. And if the answer is no, then hey, it's a great time for you. Tyrannifex is down 10. Okay. Yeah. 170. for a Tyrannifex. That is pretty good. I guess with the acid spray, then it goes up to 180. But that's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap for the durability of that guy. And then it looks like Towns of the Norn Queen. The the enhancement up here went up 5 points. Everything else unchanged. Doesn't look like anything changed as far as the DP and detachments. That all looks the same. So, yeah. Let's see, Necrons. I'll just go back to Necrons here. I don't know if there's any other armies you guys wanted to look at. Those were kind of the main ones. Orcs were kind of waiting for. Space Wolves, I heard like just the Terminators went up like 5 points or something. That's hilarious. 10 models, man, went up 10 points. So I guess, so your first and second unit went up, so that went up 20 points, and then your third unit went up 35, so that went up like 55 points. I mean, that's fine. Land Raider Redeemer went up 10. Probably could go up 20. The thing is crazy good. That thing is so good in 11th edition, man. It's awesome. Necrons. Okay. Back to Necrons. Look at this. Look at all this red, guys. We were so good. So good. Yeah, but I mean, does this, again, like coming full circle for those of you new that joined, you know, does this fundamentally change Necrons what we're playing? No. You still figure out a way to fit the Locust Destroyers in your list, the Locust Heavies. I think the Emetics get even more interesting now with Orcs in the mix. I think, you know, they are a very efficient unit into Orcs, and there's a lot of cool things that you can do with them. And I think anything else. Maybe I will. Let's pull up. Let's pull up a list hammer really quick, and let's see where Necrons are sitting at here. So let me adjust this. There we go. So yeah, I mean, we're sitting right at 50%, right in that Goldilocks zone. But I will say, I mean, things went up, and you know, I mean, I don't think other things went up around us. So I think overall we're probably going to be right in the exact same spot. You know, Orcs coming into the meta is definitely going to be a problem for us, I will say. We've been talking a lot of like how to combat that problem, and it's an interesting puzzle to solve because of the fact that like it's going to be, I think, let me back up. I think it's going to be interesting to see the lists that start coming out for Orcs and what that exactly looks like, because it seems like from the Orc community, really excited about the Codex, a lot of cool changes, a lot of exciting stuff to test, but overall they're going to have less stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if do we need to skew and bring maybe a little bit more volume and, you know, lower AP, higher volume shooting into our lists to combat the influx of Orcs that are going to come into the meta. I mean, Orcs have already been popular at the start of 11th anyway, so maybe it might not feel different. But, you know, from a Necron standpoint, does that change where, you know, we're auto-including Locust Heavies like Emetics in our list? Whether you're running like a unit of 1, a unit of 2. I mean, 1, 2, or 3, honestly, are all viable. I think they're all interesting for different reasons. And even running, you know, a 3 brick with like a Plasmancer or a Chronomancer, I think those are all interesting combinations going into this next data slate, or this next like month of the game, I guess you could say. So I think that'll be interesting. I think overall, looking at the meta stats here, I think the biggest thing and the biggest call out here is the win rates are pretty. It's interesting how like I mean, the win rates themselves are pretty close with the adjustments. It's just the one thing that we don't like. I mean, look at this. We have 6% of the field playing disruption. 6%. 2, and I mean, this is not even including like RTTs. You could argue that just take and hold and priority assets alone are 2/3 of the field, which is crazy. I mean, look, I mean, we will say that, you know, we're all gamers and, you know, we're all going to take like the path of least resistance, right? So it was inevitable when they released these missions and these cards that there were going to be a few outliers. Or there is quote unquote always going to be the strongest, right? Like there's no way of necessarily preventing that. But we could get these numbers a lot closer, you know, like plus or minus like 5%. I think going into September, I really do hope they figure out a way outside of just like bringing certain armies off of priority assets or take and hold to bring these numbers more in line. Because I think this is like the biggest thing that I don't like currently in 11th edition is the disparity here. And I think just how easy it is still to score points. So let me check up on the chat here. I hope with our codex become fast attack beast rather than a stat check, but I think race are essentially dead once Marines get buff until we get codex. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I think race are still definitely good in Curse Legion, like as of right now, but especially with like orcs coming into the meta, I think they do like solve a very specific problem. But you know, if things just keep on getting stronger as they are, I mean, you know, I think leaning into some sort of stat check is not really going to be the best way to go about things. The Necron nerfs feel really weird. They're based on WC results, which allowed Night Scythe re-embark, which doesn't work in regular 40 cases. A lot of shadow nerf to the Scythe. Yeah, but like, I mean, I will say, I mean, like the Night Scythe is still cool. I think, you know, still being able to like react move, like Locust Destroyers back in it is kind of cool. But yeah, you can't use the you know, the up in and out ability anymore. So, you know, and again, you know, you're paying a lot. You are paying a lot of points to do like one specific thing when it's like, oh, I'd rather just probably have more stuff, right? So, but yeah, I think you know, the fields, this I would love to see fixed a little bit, hopefully going into the next slate here. Necrons, you know, look at that, guys, just perfectly balanced. All right, just perfectly balanced. So I think honestly we're gonna be sitting basically in the same spot. We're gonna be running basically the same stuff because there, you know, other armies did get points updates. And, you know, we'll have to see. I mean, maybe with some of those like super strong armies getting, you know, a little nerfed, maybe we can pop up like a little bit higher. But I will say, you know, hey, at least we're not bad. You know, we're not in the yellow. We're not in the red. Could be worse. All right. So, yeah, but I plan on hanging out for like another 5 minutes here. I apologize about the technical difficulties this morning and starting a little late here, but we got it mostly corrected, so that's always good. Love software, guys. Love software. Do you think we will have many models going to Legends when our Codex comes out, seeing how many unexpected Space Marines got moved to Legends recently? I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I think I don't know. I mean, they could. It's going to be interesting to see because, like, okay, them Legend doing on or removing Predators, Vindicators, that sort of thing, where it's like, are you just making like a new tank to then, you know, come into the fold? I don't know. I'll be very curious to see. I don't see them really legending a lot of stuff, but we'll see. Do you run Curse with Purge or Recon right now? If your Purge has been quite nerfed with the layouts, with the control more missions. I still think you run Purge with Curse Legion. I think that just makes the most sense. And then I think you just figure out how to keep all the main stuff in your list and just drop like an enhancement or two, and then you basically have the same list. I think you're still slamming 2 locust bricks in your list. You're still probably having at least 1 Scorpack brick for a good counterpunch. The unit of 6 Ophidians is very interesting. It going up like 5 points, I still think it's still just as viable. I mean, you have something with 30 attacks, potentially with sustained, once per game dev wounds, and they are a really great ingress threat. And they deep strike, and they're a really good counter for orcs. I think the only issue is like with Overwatch. You know, I feel like, at least in my local meta, like a lot of these builds, they have like a lot of really strong Overwatch threats, and that's the one thing I do worry about with like Ophidians and some other things where, you know, if you don't drop them in like exactly correct and are able to avoid those Overwatch threats, it feels pretty bad because they are pretty squishy. So don't understand why Warriors went up in points. I think just a slight nod to running the 10 Warriors in Awakened Dynasty was pretty good. I don't know, at least the 20 man didn't go up, and I promise I'm gonna get 20 Warriors back on the channel. Okay, one of the more we'll have a report coming up. They're back, and we'll be messing around with that for a little bit because you know, Necrons for the most part, they seem pretty solid right now. So kind of more of just like messing around. Anyone else find it weird that Locust Heavy Destroyers went up again? They were already massively outshadowed by regular Locusts. I don't know if I'd say massively outshadowed. I mean, like, definitely the Locust Destroyers are better, but I think maybe they're anticipating, like, we are going to probably run some heavy destroyers, especially the Amitics now with like more orcs in the fold. So, you know, I think them going up like 5 points it's fine. I think it's fine. I don't see an FAQ for the Night Scythe, unable to embark only applies to units that have made a normal advance or fallback, which is FAQ. Yes, correct. It is FAQ'd. Like, if you look in the app, basically they took it out so you can't like disembark and embark in the same phase. So, would you rather take the Locust Heavy Destroyers in 2s instead? I think you definitely can. I think it definitely is interesting. Because did they just... Yeah, so that's what's also interesting is you don't have a 15-point tax on the unit of 2. And I think the unit of 2 is very, like, in Cursed Legion, it's very efficient for, like, an early piece that just goes out because it has Advance and Shoot. Or OC, relatively durable. And you're still getting 24 shots with Sustained for 100 points. That's Strength 8. So, you know, I still don't think it's enough output to, like, get rid of, you know, like 5 scouts, really. I mean, maybe. I guess you're winning on 2s, reeling 1s. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Because what? You're getting, what, 24... You're probably going to be -1 to hit, so you're hitting on 4s, but then back to 3s with Sustain, so you're getting like 18 hits. And then you're re-rolling 1s to wound, so I don't know, call it like you're getting like 15 to 16 wounds. And then 3 or 4 up, like, maybe you barely kill 5 scouts, so it's kind of a weird breakpoint for that unit. But I do like them as like a like an ingress play. Or dropping them in a strat reserve to screen and then clearing like a cheap chaff unit. But I still think you're probably getting better value out of just running the 3 brick with like a Plasmancer or something. And then running them around and doing a lot of damage, which would be cool. But let's see here. Why do we nerf something? Because it might run in a bit. Isn't the point to nerf things that are oppressive in the meta, not things that might get played a bit? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, I mean, that's all valid, but I think the biggest thing is, like, they mainly just nerfed. I mean, if we look at everything that's in red here, it's like everything that we were already running and basically spamming. Like, I was already running 2 Locust Bricks, you know, the unit of Ophidians at 145 for 6, I can understand. It was pretty cheap for what they did. I mean, that was pretty good. So I think this is fine. I think this is expected. Like, could have been a lot worse for sure. I think the biggest thing is I wish I would have seen, like, you know, having to spice things up a little bit, like some sort of disposition change, or lowering the I'm seeing here that this is not in the full, no, something like that I think would have been cool. But yeah, but seriously, the 50 of you that are in here, seriously appreciate you hanging out, appreciate you watching. Any last minute questions in the chat before I go? But yeah, planning on getting some battle reports up pretty soon. Just, you know, pretty busy with work this time of year. So, and the game has felt kind of, you know, I mean, I'm still having a great time with 11th, but it does feel a little, we need something. We need a little spice here. All right. So I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but Canoptic Court should be 2. Honestly, if Canoptic Court was 2 DP, we would be cooking. But I'm going to be honest, I fully understand why it is not 2 DP. So I like to see Immortals get some love. They're so bad, and this would encourage us to stop spamming Destroyers. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just don't know. Like, unless we get some sort of disposition change or, you know, something like that, I just don't see a world that we get out of Locust Destroyer spam jail. Yeah, I mean, it's just our most reliable damage platform. So yeah, the data slate speed is what is making 11th feel Like, I love a lot of the 11th changes. Like, I really do. I think, and when I was like vocal about the tournament run and everything else, I just feel like the points need to be fixed in some sort of way, and the missions. So I feel like hopefully in this next data slate going into September, there's some more attention on that specifically, rather than, you know, just kind of adjusting points and that sort of thing. But I guess, you know, I guess we'll see, you know. I agree we need some spice. Win rate is fine, but we feel solved and stale. We might shift a few units around, but the game plan is the same. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I couldn't agree more. You know, there's not a lot of, I think, innovation to be had right now in testing some stuff, and that's, I think, biggest reason I wish I would have liked to see like a disposition changing, or like a DP going down. We don't really have any other damage 2 stuff right now, so our main weapon is AP0. I think it needs to go up 40 points, but with the data slate overhaul, yeah, potentially. But we do have a lot of damage 2 though in our list right now, so that's why it's like, you know, fighting against anything that's like -1 damage against Cursed Legion, you get a little sketch sometimes, because then you know, your everything is 1. It's not as good. So yo, to the 50 of you that are still in here, seriously, appreciate you hanging out. And overall, I think, you know, successful data slate. We did get a little, you know, slight little bump up, but just bear in mind everything else went up around it, and we still have to see orcs on the table. So I really want to see what their lists start looking like, and, you know, a lot of things genuinely to look forward to. But as always, seriously, you guys hung around this long. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you hanging out. And we will catch you in a battle report very soon. All right? Enjoy the rest of your week. And, yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace, y'all.